We're talking about maps that were drawn roughly between the 1300s and the 1700s. In other words, in relatively recent history.
What if everything you learned about exploration and discovery was incomplete? Throughout history, mysterious maps have surfaced, showing places that should not exist according to official records.
Longitude. Its presence in maps based on much older source maps that actually show the world as it looks during the last ice age suggests that somebody during the last ice age was mapping the world and had mastered the technique.
Some display continents discovered centuries before their official finding. Others revealed geographic details impossible for their time. Today, we explore ancient maps that challenge what we thought we knew about history and human exploration.
However, these maps were largely based on much older source maps, which they copied. And we can say that for sure because one of the famous maps is the Piri Reis Map, which was created by a Turkish admiral called Piri Reis in the year 1513.
In 1929, a German scholar discovered an ancient map in Istanbul's Topkapi Palace. The Piri Reis Map, created in 1513 by Ottoman admiral and cartographer Ahmed Muhiddin Piri, immediately sparked controversy. The map was drawn on gazelle skin and compiled from about 20 different source maps. Piri Reis stated he used 8 maps from the time of Alexander the Great, 4 Portuguese maps, 1 Arabic map, and importantly, a map drawn by Christopher Columbus himself that has never been found anywhere else. What makes this map fascinating is the southern landmass that many believe depicts Antarctica. However, Antarctica was not officially discovered until 1820. Over 300 years later, Professor Charles Hapgood claimed in 1965 that this proves the map shows Antarctica before it was covered by ice. Modern scientists reject this theory. The ice core data shows Antarctica has been covered in ice for over 10 million years. Most scholars today believe the southern portion actually shows the distorted coastline of South America, specifically Patagonia or Tierra del Fuego. Just 18 years after the Piri Reis Map, another controversial document appeared. In 1531, French mathematician and cartographer Oronce Fine created a world map that also shows a large southern continent. Fine was an accomplished scholar who held the chair of mathematics at the College Royal in Paris. His map displays a landmass labeled Terra Australis positioned at the South Pole with surprising detail, including mountains and rivers. Charles Hapgood also studied this map extensively and claimed it matched the actual topography of Antarctica beneath the ice. To make this connection work, however, Hapgood had to rotate the map by 20 degrees, move the South Pole by 1,600 kilometers, and alter the scale significantly. Terra Australis on the map is actually 230% larger than real Antarctica. The Antarctic Peninsula is completely missing from the representation. Modern cartographers explain that this southern continent was a theoretical landmass that mapmakers included based on ancient Greek beliefs. They believed a large southern continent must exist to balance the northern landmasses. In 1965, Yale University announced an extraordinary discovery. They had acquired a map purporting to show North America before Christopher Columbus, complete with a landmass labeled Vinland. The map appeared to be from the mid-15th century and seemed to prove that medieval Europeans knew about the Americas through Viking exploration. It created massive headlines and appeared on the front page of the New York Times. However, scientists immediately suspected forgery. In 1973, analysis found the ink contained titanium dioxide antites, which was only commercially produced starting in the 1920s. Yale conducted extensive tests over decades using advanced technology including X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy and Raman microscopy. In 2021, Yale officially declared the Vinland Map a fake. The ink contained titanium and barium consistent with Norwegian ink produced in 1923, while Vikings did reach North America around 1000 CE, proven by the Lance O' Meadows archaeological site discovered in 19.
Map projection on top of that. Let's see what happens when we do that. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? Because if this is a map to do with navigation or sailing, it's actually not being able to translate distance very effectively at all.
For centuries, European cartographers included a massive southern continent on their maps that never existed as depicted. This theoretical landmass, called Terra Australis Incognita, appeared on maps from the 15th through 18th centuries. The concept originated with ancient Greek geographer Ptolemy, who lived around 100 to 170 CE. He believed Earth needed a large southern landmass to balance the continents in the northern hemisphere. Gerardus Mercator, who created his famous world map in 1569, firmly believed in Terra Australis based on this ancient theory. His influential map showed this hypothetical continent occupying most of the southern hemisphere. When Ferdinand Magellan discovered Tierra del Fuego in 1520, mapmakers assumed it was the northern edge of this great southern land. As explorers charted more of the southern hemisphere, Terra Australis kept shrinking on maps. Captain James Cook's second voyage in the 1770s finally proved that if any southern continent existed, it was much smaller than imagined. The confirmed discovery of Antarctica only happened in 1820. In 1569, Flemish cartographer Gerardus Mercator created one of history's most influential maps. What makes his projection remarkable is not what it shows, but how it displays the world. The Mercator projection represents lines of constant compass bearing as straight lines, revolutionizing navigation. This mathematical achievement allowed sailors to plot courses easily across oceans. Some claim the Piri Reis Map used Mercator projection decades before Mercator invented it. However, experts disagree. The Piri Reis Map is actually a Portolan chart, which uses compass roses and rhumb lines differently than Mercator projection. While ancient Greeks had the mathematical knowledge to create cylindrical projections, Europeans did not commonly use what we call Mercator projection until the late 16th century. Mercator never explained how he developed his projection method, though he likely benefited from Portuguese navigator Pedro Nunes's work on navigation mathematics. The projection became the standard for marine navigation by the 18th century, despite its distortion at higher latitudes. Between 1405 and 1433, Chinese Admiral Zheng He commanded 7 massive naval expeditions across the Indian Ocean. His treasure fleets consisted of hundreds of ships and tens of thousands of men. These voyages reached Southeast Asia, India, Arabia, and East Africa, decades before European explorers ventured to these regions. Navigation charts from these expeditions, known as the Maocoon Map, were published in 1628. Some claim Chinese explorers reached America before Columbus. In 2002, British author Gavin Menzies published a controversial book arguing that Zheng He discovered America in 1421. A map dated 1418 allegedly shows both American continents in detail. However, most historians reject these claims. Experts identify the 1418 map as an 18th century copy of European maps, not authentic Chinese cartography. While Zheng He's voyages were extraordinary achievements in navigation, no credible evidence proves his fleets reached the Americas. The authentic Maocoon map shows detailed routes through Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean, and East Africa, but nothing beyond. Ancient maps reveal more about the mapmakers than hidden civilizations or lost knowledge. Cartographers worked with limited information, combining reports from travelers, sailors, and earlier maps. They filled unknown regions with educated guesses based on theory and imagination. The concept of Terra Australis demonstrates how philosophical beliefs shaped cartography for centuries. The Piri Reis and Oronce Fine maps are valuable historical documents showing 16th century geographical knowledge, but they do not depict ice-free Antarctica or prove ancient advanced civilizations. The most controversial claims about these maps come from Charles Hapgood's theories in the 1960s, which have been thoroughly disproven by modern science. Antarctica has been frozen for over 10 million years, making it impossible for ancient civilizations to have mapped it without ice. Real archaeological discoveries like the Norse settlement at Longso Meadows and Zheng He's documented voyages provide authentic evidence of historical exploration. These genuine finds are far more fascinating than speculative map theories. Ancient maps show us the evolving understanding of our world through history. While some mysterious details captured imaginations and sparked theories about lost civilizations, scientific analysis reveals more mundane explanations. Cartographers combined available knowledge with theoretical geography, sometimes creating surprisingly accurate representations through educated guesswork. The real story of human exploration, documented through archaeology and authentic historical records, proves remarkable enough without needing sensational claims. Sometimes history as it actually happened is the most incredible story of all,